Taylor Swift new album is here. Diddy get sentenced. Adriana Demora and Julia Lemigova lesbian affair is exposed. Heather Dubrow is done with the games. Tamra Judge is quitting again. Teresa Giudice is quitting. And what is happening with K-pop hunter demons getting over the world? Welcome to Pop Smash. Hello, everybody, troop, and welcome back. I am your host, Andy Shademan, and I hope that you are ready for another day full of tea. If you are new here, well, welcome to Beverly Troop, where we spill the tea almost every single day at this point because there are so much things happening on the pop culture streets, on this reality TV show streets, in the Bravoverse, and more. So if you are new here, you know what to do. Subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you are coming from my old YouTube channel, well, welcome. You have found home. The light is finally here. How are you guys? Oh my God, there are so many things happening. I have been like, in a little bit of a situationship going on right now, but I want to, before we start, thank every single one of you who have been bearing with me, who has been sending me messages, who are, DMing me. Guys, I am trying to respond to like as many comments and DMs and messages as I can. There has been a lot happening, with my family, then my health, then this channel, then like everything has been like a whirlwind of emotions right now, but don't worry, I am not going anywhere. I am here for you guys, and we live for this. We live to spill the tea and to make all of this happen, or basically to mention it all. Am I right? Okay, guys, so let's just dive into these situations that are going on. I want to start with the Real Housewives of Miami. Girl, I am shaking. I am physically shaking. Okay? Like the bomb, I was expecting everything. Everything, with when they were like trying, and like Andy Cohen was saying there is this huge bomb. We didn't know what to do. Alexia said it. Marisol said it. Like everyone said it. Even Adriana Demora said it, and I was like, what is this bomb? What do you mean that there is something that huge that no one is really even giving a hint? So to see that the actual bomb is what could be the first housewife on housewife affair, I was like, I mean, the faces of anyone in that reunion set said it all. I was like, my mouth was on the floor, guys. I was like, I cannot believe that we are talking about this. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, we had Brandy Glanville's and Denise Richard lesbian affair happening some years ago. And that might be true, except for the fact that it has always been completely denied by Denise Richards. And it was not, I mean, it kind of like hit differently, And I think it literally hit differently because we have Julia Lemigova, a housewife, a real housewife with a mojito, with a tagline, who is sitting down at the reunion, and it is basically saying in front of the world that she cheated on Martina, her wife, that they just adopted a couple kids, right? That she cheated on her with her best friend, Adriana Demora. Okay? This is wild to me, and it hits in so many different levels than the whole Denise Richards and Brandy Glanville situation, right? Now, this is interesting because Julia is basically coming here saying that when they were in the Hamptons, that they slept together and that they slept together multiple times. And I have to tell you a couple of things, okay? I mean, first of all, I believe I believe it. Okay, I know Adriana is kind of like denying it, but I believe it. If you go and rewatch the trip to the Hamptons, which was, I think, last season or last season, um, it was when Julia got drunk and then she didn't have a hangover, but they have to call the ambulance, and all of that. Remember all of that. If you remember those early kind of like seasons of the reboot, there has always been this relationship between Adriana and Julia that kind of like did not make a lot of sense. Yes, you can have best friends, you can have people that you love dearly, and in the gay world also, like, there are a lot of lines that are blurred, like, yes, we kiss all of our friends all the time and it really doesn't mean anything, right? But when you see Julia and Adriana behaving next to each other, prior to the Hamptons trip and after the Hamptons trip, it was kind of like, honestly, they were on an actual real relationship. So I believe that this is more than a hookup. So I have two alternatives over here. They were having a full on affair that somehow ended, you know. Someone put an end to the affair. I'm talking like an actual affair, right? And Martina had no idea what was going on, and she thought that it was just two cutesy girls, getting kissing here and there. Or they were a throuple, or Martina and Julia had an open marriage. There might be one of these situations. Look, you know that I am as open minded as it comes. So, like, I honestly don't care. If they come here and tell me, no, you know what? We actually had an open marriage, or maybe we still have an open marriage, that's their problem. Ashley Darby and Michael used to have an open marriage as well, right? So, like, that, I feel that that kind of situations is every couple's businesses, right? But I believe that something is going on over here, and I don't know if we're gonna be diving into like this affair moving forward on the next reunions, or maybe this is going to literally buy Julia another season so we can talk about this next season. But something is happening over here. I believe that Martina already know about this because I don't believe that Julia will just say that out of nowhere without having a conversation with Martina first. So I believe that there is something here that we are missing, but now we understand, and it does gives a lot of clarity into why Adriana is so mad that Julia basically exchanged her. In that season finale, Adriana says, "You used me. You used me, you used me, you used me," right? But how can you use a friend? If you have friendships, then it's not that weird that you are becoming friends with your friend's friend. You know, Something that happened is really not that deep. And if you are being cast on the show, it is expected for everyone to get along with everyone or to have relationships with everyone. So how is Julia using Adriana? Now, if Julia was having a relationship, an affair with Adriana in order for her to be part of the show, then that will mean that Julia used Adriana to be part of the show. And once she finally got to be part of the show and get her own relationships with all of the ladies, then she discarded Adriana because she realized that the big dogs of Miami, Alexia, Lisa, Marisol, they don't get along with Adriana. So she needs to be part of this group because it is very obvious that this is the group that is going to be moving forward, or that it's always going to be big names, right? I have no idea. Julia's character has been questioned by social media left and right. This reunion is giving so much clarity into a dark side of Julia that we might not be aware of. Okay. We saw Julia throwing a whole vase of water or something at Marisol. We saw Julia like completely unhinged, breaking a chair at Mamacita's luncheon. And now we saw what happened with Gertie. So the question is, why those moments were unseen? Why are we seeing them just now? Why are they finally deciding to open up about that? Why was Bravo basically covering, well, either Bravo or the production company, okay? Because there are different things. But someone was definitely protecting Julia. And why is that? My guess is it doesn't really have anything to do with race. A lot of people have been saying, this is racist, 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 because Gertie is a woman, a person of color, of course. I don't believe it's about race. I think it's because they wanted to protect the gay card of Bravo, Since Bravo start opening up into being more diverse and more than just white rich women on every single franchise, there was also a call for diversity. But it has been very hard to find, or for them, I don't know why, because there are plenty, but for them, there has been very hard to find lesbians, married couple that are very successful and that want to be part of the show. Okay. And the only one that we kind of like have before was Bronwyn from Orange County, but that really didn't even count because it was so messy and weird. So by having this couple who are a power couple, because Martina Nativirova, is a very powerful person in the sports, world, and having Julia there, it's giving you this perfect power gay card. So it's kind of like, let's protect her, right? Because Gertie could be replaceable. You know what I mean? I think that's what they were trying to do. But now they are showing all of this, I believe, is because they saw the reaction that the fans were having during the season to the fact that no one was defending Gertie. Okay? Look, I personally don't connect with Gertie. I have never been able to connect with her. Um, but her treatment was unfair during this season. You know, I think that Gertie is alone. I think Gertie doesn't really have friends on the show anymore. And it shows. Now, it's part of reality, right? Not just because you are someone doesn't mean that everyone needs to be friends with you. Sometimes people don't like you, right? But in this case, it shows so much because it is a reality TV show and because we see the behaviors of everyone. I believe that no one gives a shit about Gertie. At the same time, I don't know if they should. I don't think they are close to her. I don't think she is close to them either, right? But you have to do what is right when it's supposed to be right. So if you see someone throwing water at her face, yes, you should have stand up and say like, "This is disgusting, Julia. You are not supposed. Please leave this event." This was supposed to be Marisol's wedding celebration, right? So they should have stand up and say like, "Julia, I don't give a fuck who you are, or I don't care what you're doing. That is not good. You need to leave this event right now. Go, calm down. Run around, do something." but you are not gonna come here and do all of this, right? And then you go and cater to Gertie, who is clearly being somehow, being the victim in that moment. Even if what they are finding is Gertie's fault, which I don't know if it wasn't or not. Even if like that moment, at that specific moment, Gertie is the victim. And it is not okay to throw a glass of water, right? So there is a lot of like double standards over here. Okay, now you know that there is a lot of rumors that Gertie, Julia, Adriana, and supposedly Kiki are on the shopping block. I don't believe Kiki is in the shopping block whatsoever. I think that Kiki has earned her place to be on Housewife, and she is amazing. But when that blind item came out some weeks ago, I was really thinking about it. I was like, okay, why Gertie, Julia, and Adriana? Uh, and they were saying, Adriana is just disconnected from everyone. Gertie doesn't really have friends, and Julia is just disliked by everyone. At that moment, I was like, but is that really going to be enough? Now that we're going into the reunion, I really starting to understand why the three of them might be completely out of the show. Now, yes, this whole lesbian affair could be a huge storyline if they really lean into it, which means I want conversations with Martina. I want a confrontation between Martina and Adriana de Mora. I want, full honesty into every single sexual encounter that these people had. That's the only way that I'm going to be able to move forward with these two ladies into the show, because you cannot drop this bomb and then act like nothing ever happened. So we're gonna need to have a lot of clarity into what was this. Was it an affair? Were they cheating, or are they in an open marriage? What does that mean? How much Martina really knows? Did they went to therapy for this? Again, you are on a reality TV show. This is what is expected from you. Okay. Um. So I'm very blown away by the whole thing. I need to know what is going to happen, and let me know what you guys think on the comments below about all of this. Because honestly, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wow. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about Real Housewives of Orange County, because also another show that is doing so good. Housewife is really, really doing so good right now between Salt Lake City, Miami, Orange County, and we have the premiere of Potomac coming in the next couple days. Oh, girl, I am in heaven right now. Orange County is doing a really, really good job. And the spring luncheon was another event that did not disappoint. Okay. The fact that these ladies could not put one foot into the Tamara's house, and they were already fighting and screaming and doing the whole thing. Wow. But like, what else were we expecting? I was like, this is reality TV. This is what we live for. Okay. Tamara needs to. I don't think she's gonna be doing it anymore. But at this point, the whole like I quit, I quit. Like you are becoming like the boy who cried wolf. You have to stop saying that you're gonna quit. And I get it. She's going through, or she was going through a very hard situation in her life, and I think that's playing a lot with her mental health at that moment. But this is the show that you signed for, right? Um, and I believe that all of the other ladies are just calling things out as they are. Tamara Judge, I have always said she is a great housewife. She is the reason why Housewife is the way it is. She knows how to create reality TV. She knows how to produce amazing moments, right? And I think this is the first time in all of the years that Tamara has been part of this show that she's actually going through something that is extremely traumatic for her and that is really, really affecting her. I believe that we have not seen as this side of Tamara literally since she was divorcing Simon. Like I don't know, 17 years ago or something like that, not like 16 or 15 or whatever, right? Tamara's, thing every single season has been kind of like just going against other people, just bringing up shit, steering the pot, doing all this kind of shit that has been really good TV. But to really, really affect her on this capacity, this is the first thing, in many, many years. And I think this is why she's reacting the way she is. She's literally afraid to lose her best friend to cancer, and I think she's acting out like no one else before. Now, Emily and Heather saying, I don't trust Tamara because we don't know how she's going to react to certain situations. I don't think it's a bad thing because I believe Tamara could be a little could be unreliable sometimes. You don't know what your relationship is going to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. And I think the perfect example for that is her relationship with Shannon Bedore. And I think that's why the girls are so scared of really, really trusting Tamara, right? Why? Because when Tamara was really fighting with Shannon, Tamara lose no time into throwing a lot of things that were said in confidence to everyone from Shannon, right? So of course, that I think that is one of the reasons why Shannon is like, I just don't know if I want to be friends with you anymore because you betrayed my trust. You betrayed me, So I think Tamara is going through a moment where she is extremely worried about Teddy. She's going through all of this stress, and all of the other girls at the same time are saying, well, we are not here to buy your bullshit anymore. We don't trust you. We are not gonna, like, you are here. You are a friend. You will be invited to everything. But that does not mean that I'm gonna be telling you my darkest, deepest secret because I just don't trust that in the future you are not gonna do the same that you did to Shannon Bedore. And of course, having Gretchen around does not help whatsoever. But Gretchen, I believe, is a whole different monster. Okay, I believe that Gretchen is lying. I believe that she wanted to, snatch either Katie's or Jennifer's orange, and I think she got extra cocky once Katie was out of the picture, right? So she said, like, well, why don't we take two, for the price of one? So maybe she says, like, let's just go for Tamara because let's be honest, we were all expecting for Gretchen to come after Tamara, just the way Alexis went against Shannon. It was kind of like an unspoken rule that we were expecting as fans, and she took it to a whole other level. It is one thing to really fights, in the same level, but when you go and create fake shit, that is a really big problem. I don't believe for once any of the accusations that Gretchen said about Tamara. Okay. I don't believe that Tamara drugged her. I don't believe that Tamara slept with the guy from 98 Degrees. Okay. I believe that everything is a plan, probably even coming from a slate, to get an orange and to take out Tamara Judge, because if they take out Tamara Judge, maybe they believe that Gretchen will be, the HBIC, um, which I keep saying that is so far from the truth because if Tamara end up leaving the show, we still have Heather Dubrow and Shannon Bedore who will be way up here. Just because Gretchen was on the show 1,000 years ago doesn't mean that she is a better housewife, right? She has been out of the show for like 10 years, okay? So yeah, Gretchen is a whole other monster, right? Now, another thing that I did not like whatsoever was the comments that Gina and some of the girls did about Heather Dubrow acting career. Okay, look, I get it. We have talked about this before. Maybe Heather is not out there getting nominated to Oscars or Emmys, but that does not mean that she is not an actress. Okay. She has done acting a long time ago, some episodes here and there, but at the end of the day, that is her passion. That is what she does. So when she was fighting with Gina and she was saying, this is not funny, I don't know if you guys know this or understand this, but Growlings is one of the most prestigious places to be here in Los Angeles. And this is not about just going there, and I have money and just, whatever. No, you literally have to audition just like anyone else with people from all ages, from everywhere else. And you have to be chosen to get into it. So if you go around to people in the industry and you said, I was chosen or approved or accepted to get into Growlings, it is a big deal. Okay. It is a big deal, and for someone whose real passion is acting, like Heather, this is a big accomplishment. And when Gina was doing all of those remarks, I was like, Gina, I get it. You are really trying to be a housewife because people were so over you for so many years because your only thing that you could talk was your little casita, right? That now you find your voice, but now you are making all of these mean remarks, okay? And to me, it's even worse when she double downs at the confessionals because the confessionals are filmed after. So basically, you are rewatching what happened or remembering what happened or wherever, and you are doubling down and saying like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I did not your sitcoms of 1990 something. I was in fourth grade." Like all of those comments are saying like, "I just don't believe that she's a good actress," or "I don't believe that she will be able to do comedy." Many of comedy, really good comedy actors and actresses, they don't have to be stupid in real life. That's why they are acting. That's why they are good at acting. You, I mean, there are so many examples. So when I like this time, I was looking at Heather, and I was really feel bad for her because it is such a big accomplishment to be accepted at Growlings and to see someone that you consider to be your best friend who should be supporting you, who should be saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's amazing! Like so, like good for her. I'm gonna send her a text message. I'm gonna send her flowers. I'm gonna wherever." And instead of doing any of that, you are making fun of her just because how she is in real life. It was kind of disgusting, to be very honest with you. And I felt bad for Heather, and I have to say 100% team Heather Dubrow because that shit is hard. Doing improv is hard. Doing comedy is one of the hardest things that you can do as an actor. So my respect go to Heather Dubrow for even trying to do that. Yes. Look, I personally, I don't think I see Heather, being like into like a comedy. Like to me, I have always wanted to see Heather into like Grey's Anatomy, right? Don't ask me why. I just see it in my mind. I want her to be like Doctor Something, and just have a regular, be a regular, in Grey's Anatomy. I have always seen her doing something like that. But anyways, but that does not mean that she's not good at it, or that does not mean that is a bad thing that she wants to be good at it. Because also, if you are taking classes, is because you are training yourself to be good at that. Okay, you don't go to classes when you are the best at it. Why? Because you're already the best at it. But you are training yourself because you want to be better. You want, and for your best friend to not acknowledge that girl is not your best friend, Heather. Okay, that's what I have to say. Um, what else happened? And so many fighting on this episode. I I feel so bad for the cake lady, but what I would be to be just there. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be involved in the fighting. I just want to see these girls going at each other. Like all of these people that we have seen on different shows, the waiters, the cake lady, the drivers, and see all of this going down. I'm like, please, please make me be one of those. Like I just want to be on a dinner, sit down on my table, and then just like screaming like side to side, girl. That's part of Bravo history right there. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on the comments below about the Real Housewife of Orange County. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Miss Taylor Swift. Girl, the Life of a Showgirl was released yesterday, and the whole world is losing their shit. We are coming from losing our shit to losing our shit to losing our shit. Like I don't even know where this is going to stop. But anyways, uh the album is trending everywhere. Everyone is talking about it. Every single song is amazing. The Life of a Showgirl, which is duet with Sabrina Carpenter, is like, girl, it's incredible. Like it's really, really good. There are so many theories. There are people saying that this is going to be Taylor Swift's last album. That she's gonna retire for a moment to like have a life, have a family, have kids. And all of that. She's getting married to Travis Kelsey, which, by the way, she already did a song on the album about him, which it's called Wood, and it's all about his manhood. And that song, like, had all of us imagine things that we should probably not be imagining. But it is Taylor Swift, girl. Okay, there are songs about Charlie XCX. There are songs about Blake Lively. Like, girl, this album gave us so much. I am so obsessed with it. I think it's gonna be going number one. I think um, Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. She is. This album is all about the lyrics. Like if you are a real Swiftie, you know that you don't hear the album just for the beats. You actually sit down and analyze the lyrics of every single song because they have so much meaning, and sometimes you don't even know what is what. But that's the magic of hearing a Taylor Swift album. So yeah, go and listen to it if you haven't, and if you have, let me know what is your favorite song on the comments below. Now, another news: Diddy has been sentenced, and a lot of people are really, really not happy with the sentence. Okay, it was expected. He was fine, not guilty in a bunch of charges, and guilty on other charges. And he was supposed to be sentenced. A lot of people were expecting maximum, sentence, 14 years or 20 years or 30 years or something like that. And at the end of the day, he only got 50 months, which are 4 years and 2 months. People are pissed about it. Okay, they make him take the stand. He talked. He asked for forgiveness. He said that he was never gonna do this ever again. That he has learned his lesson. That he will never use baby oil again. That there will never be more freak off. That all of that shit. And the judge was like, I don't really believe any of that. The judge was like, I bet that you're just gonna leave here to go to a CVS and buy a couple bottles of baby oil. Okay, so they were like, no, I don't think you have learned your lesson. You are going to jail. Okay, there's a like literally said like, you said that you learned your lesson, but there are all of these videos of you like kicking people in hotels and doing all of that shit. You have not learned shit. Okay, so they gave him this sentence, which everyone is calling bullshit. Everyone is saying like, oh, they were gonna be like, oh, good behavior, and he was like teaching inmates how to not use baby oil for freak off, but maybe for like massages and stuff. So he's gonna do 1 year. I could already see it happening. But anyways, he was not happy anyways. He was Diddy was really thinking that today he was gonna be able to like go home, and the judge was like, no, no, no. Okay, so that's a little bit of unhappiness for Diddy right there. But like, I don't think that the sentence was just at all, and we don't know if this is gonna be over or not. So let me know what you guys think on the comments below about that situation. Another thing that we need to talk, well, we'll talk about like reality TV and all of that. Uh, it was a shock on the elimination of Dancing with the Stars at the beginning of this week because Lauren from Fifth Harmony was eliminated. A lot of people are saying that Andy needed to be eliminated, and that it was a really unfair that Lauren got eliminated. Look, I'm a huge fan of Dancing with the Stars. Of course, I watched the episode. It was TikTok night. The only thing that I have to say is that Lauren did a horrible job. I'm so sorry, but I mean, her dance was really, really, really bad. Now, I understand that Andy is really not good at dancing. But I do have to agree with what Carrie Ann was saying that this show it was supposed to be about people with zero dancing experience learning about dancing and really applying these teachings into their every week performances. Now we have a bunch of people who have all of this dancing experience, perfect bodies, super stretchy, able to do triple, jumps in the air. And it's kind of like not fair. How are you gonna make compete someone like Andy with someone like Dylan Efron? You know what I mean? Or Robert Irwin. So of course they are amazing dancers. They are doing a great job, But Andy is really representing, what Dancing with the Stars is supposed to be, which is getting better week after week. Now we also need to remember that this has a lot to do with the people who are voting. And I don't believe that Lauren has that many like fans. Actually, she has been known for being like mean. So I don't think that people are very happy with Lauren. It is what it is. There was a lot of people talking about Danielle Fisher having a little moment with Whitney and kind of like celebrating that Lauren was out and like Whitney was in and like all of that. And people are saying, "Oh, that is so mean." But that was, I mean, TMC caught up to Danielle and she was like, "Well, I mean, I can be happy that my friend didn't get eliminated, and also sad that this other friend got eliminated. That what is she supposed to do? Start crying right there. I think that is. I mean, first of all, there are so much fakeness in Dancing with the Stars, with the people being like, all the time. I'm like, let them be real for once. You know what? Maybe Danielle doesn't give a fuck about Lauren. What is wrong with that? Maybe she was like, yeah, the bitch needed to go. I'm happy that Whitney's here. Let her celebrate. Let her do her thing. I mean, I don't think it's such a big deal, but people were having a lot to say about it on social media. Now, another elimination that was shocking, and it's not even elimination, it was a withdrawal. Miss Teresa Giudice has left Special Forces on episode 2, and I am so annoyed by it. Girl, why is that Bravo people never can make it far anywhere? Well, I'm lying. Dolores actually win the traitors. But why? I love Teresa so much, and I have been so proud of her for being on this show. Special Forces, bitch, that show is insane. They're filming in Marrakesh. I just came from Marrakesh a couple months ago. That shit is hard. I almost died, and I was only there for 4 days. And I could only imagine these people with all of that heat, and the lack of experience and doing all of this shit. I was so proud of Teresa for being there. I was actually very pissed that Brittany didn't last one day. And then she goes on and says like, Jax texted me, like, oh no. I was like, bitch, Jax had nothing to do with it, okay? You did not want to run. But anyways, that's like another conversation. But anyways, I was like, come on, Teresa, let's do this. You got this. I wanted Teresa. I mean, I didn't know if Teresa was gonna win this shit, but I was like, at least go like further, you know. And I was very surprised when they make Teresa clean the bathrooms, and she was like, yeah, fuck it, I will do it. I don't give a shit. I was like, bravo, Teresa, you know. And I know that her reasons for leaving the show are pure. She literally quit the show. Spoiler alert: she quit the show because Gia Judice had to fight someone, like actually fight someone. And Teresa said, I'm gonna quit because I cannot see my child getting hurt, and that I am not gonna be able to jump and defend her. So I don't want to watch. I'm gonna quit right now. So I guess that the reasons are pure, and I understand it. But at the same time, I was like, why, Teresa? Why? You know that this is not the I mean, this is reality TV, and the show is hard as fuck. But you know that nothing is going to happen because no one is gonna let nothing happen. Because can you imagine how much they will sue the network and the production company and like every single person involved in these shows if anything was to happen to these people? So, girl, I was like, but Gia is still there. Gia, please, you are our only Bravo correspondent right now on this show. You need to make it happen. Please, please go the distance. But yeah, Teresa is out. Now, last but not least, we need to talk about the last section of the pop culture, which is also taking the world by storm. This has been happening since I think July or August. K-pop, K-pop Demon Hunters, the Netflix movie that is insane. Girl, I watch it. I am obsessed. I cannot take the songs out of my head. I have been listening to Golden every single day for weeks right now. But then I thought I was like alone on this obsession. And no, this is a worldwide thing. The songs have been reaching number one on every single list that you can imagine around the world. It's already has been 7 weeks as a number one song in the Billboard Hot 100, almost 10 weeks on the 200 Hot Billboard. This has not happened like in like history. They are actually making history, and now we are all waiting because this is an animated movie, and everyone wants the real voices of these people to go on tour and like do shows and all of that, and they were not letting this happen. Netflix was not letting this happen because they were like, these people, they are not professional singers. Okay, they are not trying to be professional singers. They are not Ariana Grande's. They are not Taylor Swift's. They are nothing like this. They were invited to the VMAs, but they did not allow them to sing on the VMAs, and then they were getting them ready so they don't disappoint the world. And now, finally, they are singing for the first time ever in real life, and it's going to be in October 7th at the Jimmy Fallon show. And the world is losing their shit. These girls are going to be so famous that it's going to be crazy. Now, the sequel to the movie has already been green lighted, which means they are gonna like milk every single cent that they can. If they are smart with this, they can go to the distance, just like the Mexican group RBD did when they were famous back in the 2000s. They can do the same things and be worldwide famous. So, girl, I mean, if you already are like, if you have not watched the movie, please do me a favor, go and watch the movie because you will be obsessed just like I am. All right, guys, and I think that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. You guys have been amazing. You know that I have been keeping you updated on my journey on this new YouTube channel. I want to say we are 2,300 people right now. We still have, there are 32 more thousand people to bring from the other channel. So I hope that happens at some point. Also, you know that I need 4,000 watch hours to be able to monetize this channel, and we are at 1,100 hours. So guys, your support comes right now. Watch this video, rewatch this video, go and watch all of my other videos, rewatch them. If you saw a video that is under 1,000 views, please watch it. Share it on your Facebook groups, on your Instagram groups, on other people that are into Bravo or that are into pop culture or anything, and let's make this happen. Thank you so much, guys. All of my contacts and everything else is on the description below. If you want to follow me anywhere on social media, you can find me right there. And thank you for being amazing. So if you wanna get more, well, don't forget to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you around. See ya. Bye.